What is the latest on Variant 8 scuff and broken boss fights? Side event this month is not going down well with players. Ikaris was too powerful again, so he had his wings clipped due to a bug apparently. And where in Hercules' beard are Relics? Yes, hello everybody, welcome back to the Marvel Contest of Champions news show for Friday. I kind of thought I'd do something with this cardboard cutout of Frank the Tortoise. But I just thought I'd do a quick update. He's gone into hibernation. It's been very mild weather and he needs to go into hibernation cycle. He'll be out in about March, April time next year, so look out for that. Also, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe with post notifications on all for the channel. Appreciate you. And also, I just want to say a massive thank you to those that support the channel as a YouTube member and as a Patreon. You're on screen now, and thank you so much for keeping that love and support. Also, those that support over on twitch.tv/RichTheMan live. That's where I do a lot of my live streaming. If you have Amazon Prime, you can give a free Twitch sub. Doesn't have to be to me, but it massively supports this channel if you can do that. Tier 1 subs, Tier 2 subs, thank you for those that give that. Bits and donations, thank you for the support. Also, look out for a potential big 6-star crystal opening live stream exclusively on YouTube, which will be for my birthday next weekend. I'll tell you more about that in the coming days next week. But let's begin with a news show, shall we? And we must talk about Ikaris. Do I give Kabam the benefit of the doubt here, or do I go like, something fishy is going on here? Now, something fishy is all around his SP1. So Kabam have said there is currently an issue where Ikaris' SP1 is causing unintended spikes in damage. This is caused by an issue where refreshing and pausing damage over time effects causes an error. We'll be making a temporary change that will reduce the number of refreshes on Ikaris' SP1 while we work on a full fix that will be released with a future update. Once this temporary fix is pushed out, Ikaris will only refresh his incinerates on the final hit on the SP1 instead of all 4. Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying based on the rotation. The rotation would be in order to keep, like, debuffs on, incinerates on, is kind of the way to go. His SP1 says inflicts 3 incinerate debuffs on each hit and refreshes all incinerate debuffs. Which again, like, having that kind of element of refresh is good to then kind of to build, and obviously build more to rotate to then build up to, say, maybe a big SP3 where you could do some big damage based on each incinerate debuff on the opponent grants X attack rating. Do bear in mind rarity is going to mean that 29784 is going to be changing. For his attack consumes all but 10 incinerators, so you'll keep a lot of incinerators on, and that rotation seems to be, I'm sure it's still going to be fine and it's still going to be a very powerful champion. It's just one of these cases of going like, well, you have to work a little bit more harder on a champion that you go, okay, well, SP1, get those incinerators on, we then energize, we then build up to an SP3, we then got all these incinerators on, maybe something that may have expired in the rotation of those. When you're throwing the SP1, it's like, okay, well, I've got 4 on there, and like, okay, so the 2 are going to kind of come off there, but I could have reset them or refreshed them. But instead I've got to wait to, like, say, 3 expiring to the 4th hit, the last hit, which Kabam say is when it's going to be down. So yeah, it says here, we'll only refresh incinerates on the final hit of the SP1 instead of all 4. So yeah, like one could, like, 1 or 1, 2, whatever, could then kind of like dial off, and you're like, oh, well, I've got less incinerates on now because I was waiting for that SP1 to finish its animation or something. But I don't know, like, it still will be fine. It's just one of these things. Okay, let's move on and talk about the side event. So I've seen a lot of people, and obviously I've done like a video yesterday about this, about, like, some champions that I found were quite good, other champions other players have used, and kind of looking at the side event in general. For me, it's just a case of pace. Side events, side quests and stuff like that is meant to be all about pace. How quickly these things are to do based on, other content that needs to be done, and the champions that Kabam put in place on things like paths and bosses as well. And yeah, the pace and how quick this is to do, because we've all got lives to live, we've all got lots of different other stuff to do, and this year what Kabam had said was this is all about, improving, like, quality of life to players, stuff that is at times not really quite easy to see. Now, from my perspective, I'm a Thronebreaker player. I've got rank 3 6-stars, and I did find at times it was just slow. Some of the fights are doable, but then at the same time, I've got the counters for these champions. There are various champions that can counter things like Terex, Korg, Mojo, and Arcus and Mangog, especially those because those are on the path as I remember them. And but the thing is, I'm not going to like take away from the fact like, why are they there? The narrative of that particular side event is called Alien Assault, right? There are a lot more aliens to be chosen rather than Korg, Mangog. Sorry, I even forgot Super Scroll, Terex, Mojo. There's so many aliens to be chosen. Yondu, for example, any Asgardian, but they decided for those. And I just don't think that that was chosen, number one, wisely, and number two, with any kind of like, well, it's without logic to just put those champions in. They could have just put the ones, as I said, like chosen, and players would be like, okay, that's cool. I just have to bring like a counter for the boss, and the other ones, I'll just kind of, I don't know, bring whatever champion, a recently buffed champion, my most powerful rank 5, that's there. A Cavalier player that has just come to be Cavalier and looking to do legendary difficulty would look at it and just be gone, nah, I'm interested in that, because they may have to rank up certain champions in order to take on the content. I'm sure there will be players that say, no, you don't have to rank a specific champion to take on the content. But, you know, but we're at this situation where players are feeling that this isn't actually enjoyable, this isn't fun, which, you know, side quests are meant to have some element of fun. So yeah, very disappointing, and it's just come to the week that Kabam are taking a lot of L's. The first quest was okay-ish, but again, if you didn't have Magneto, then yes, okay, there are other options. It wasn't totally ridiculous, but I think Kabam have like, I don't know, something about this month that they just want to put some really not illogical but weird champions as enemy champions. It's not something like SP1s are easy to avoid type champions, which they've done in the past, where they've done the likes of, you know, Captain America, where it's just the case, okay, I'll just one swipe back or step back, not a load of projectiles coming towards you. I'd expect one week to see a Punisher or something like that, where the SP1 is going to be something of a projectile, and trying to evade that requires really a Spider-Man or high evade based champion. It's just getting a little bit too ridiculous and does take away from the fun, which is side quests on a monthly basis. Now let's talk about Variant 8. As a lot of you know, we're still waiting for updates on Variant 8. So this video is being recorded early Friday morning UK time, and by the end of the day, we should hopefully have some info from Kabam. As you know from yesterday's video, Kabam have said they are going to be changing the Venom Pool final boss, especially because it is just boggles the mind on a hashtag mercenary based variant that you can't really do it with the hashtag mercenary, because it's just so just silly, just so silly, and it is, I just don't know where Kabam are going half the time with some of their content. Some of the paths as well, just completely stupid, but again, you know, it's just another month with stupid things, and it's a bit of an embarrassment to Kabam. So, you know, we've got to move on, and hopefully this is indeed changed by the end of today, or if not, by, you know, early next week, so we can then get back to doing it. I will be trying to live stream some Variant 8, but I'll be doing the bosses that are fun, and that Spider-Man symbiote fight, the She-Hulk fight, and the the Old Man Logan fight. Those are fine. So I'm going to be doing those first, and then coming back to things like the Deadpool X-Force fight, which, as a lot of us know, is just not and doesn't seem to be correct. We've talked about how the breakdown of the nodes look to be that on fundamentals, there's things like SP3, so it's like the champion won't throw a special attack. It's minus 100% chance. So basically, it's not throwing a special attack. But it is, because it's quite clearly throwing an SP3, and it shouldn't be throwing an SP3. Slap head. So that needs to be looked into, and that needs to be fixed. As I said, like, no real update from Kabam on this, except for I think yesterday we had something here. And yeah, like, I do agree that this is the point where, like, me making content on this and kind of bringing awareness is, well, number one, not all of the community are going to watch my channel, so they're not going to like see this update. Number two, this should be something that's kind of sent in game to say, look, we are aware of Variant 8. Avoid Variant 8, especially the Deadpool X-Force fight until we've properly investigated, and as well the Venom Pool fight. Players, I can imagine, are still going into this content and going like, oh, why is this not working? And then maybe they'll come to the forums, or then they'll just give up and just go, this is complete ridiculousness, I'm not able to do this. Or they're applying a load of resource. And let's just face it, if we get compensation, we are not going to be compensated the full amount that we should be owed. I feel that anybody that's gone into that Venom Pool fight that has well spent units or kind of spent revives and stuff, or have had to kind of like see champions being lost as a result of that, and the same thing with Deadpool X-Force fight, should be compensated for those two fights because they are broken. One is definitely broken, which is the Deadpool X-Force one, because it doesn't match up to any of the node specifics. And then we've got the Venom Pool fight, which looks like it's been poorly made. And because it's been poorly made, it's just a case that, and it doesn't seem like it's been properly tested. Because then what you do is you go like, okay, well, who are the champion counters that Kabam were using? And from what I gather, there's not been that kind of answer. You know, who are these people testing this? It's not anybody in the CCP or people that in the CCP would admit to it, if that is indeed the case. But, you know, I don't know that. I'm just hazarding a guess. But that's just the thing. Who is testing this stuff out to the point of launch? Yes, us players need new content, need stuff to do. We love variants, but I think this is the sour taste in the mouth kind of variant, and that's disappointing. This puts it into the territory of close to variant 1, if indeed things stay the same. Variant 1 was a terrible piece of content that hasn't changed since. Just in case now they're building the champions are being built in order to take down that content, which I need to return back to, but that's another story for another day. In any case, that's the update, everybody. That the team is aware of this, and as it's statutory, yeah, it's holiday. It was holiday yesterday for Remembrance Day, which is the 11th for the 11th. Please expect an update on this tomorrow. So today, so expect later on today. I'll probably do a later kind of like snippet coverage of this. Later on when there's been an announcement from Kabam on both bosses. But yeah, that's just the update that we are waiting today for more info. And the Venom Pool fight, I think, is going to be changed over the weekend. If not, it's going to be changed early next week. So hallelujah, happy days. And now let's finish on a bit of a topic, which is Relics. Now, Relics is something that, if you don't know, if you be filled in, that Relics were going to be this new kind of like extra slotted doodah, which is either going to like give you some more advantage, more attack power, more kind of like a bonus of some kind. To give you a real idea, in comparison, they've just put something in with Marvel Future Revolution. In Marvel Future Revolution, they've got these things called companions, where you kind of like add them as summoned things which do like more damage. It's like saying, hey, I'm playing as Doctor Strange, let me just summon my Nick Fury, he can come on and like just shoot a load of stuff. And that is kind of like giving this, not, well, and to a degree, anti-competitive extra advantage to you over somebody else. In an MCOC format, and how that can be really applied is saying like, right, well, if somebody gets a good and powerful relic, then in solo competitive mode, in alliance wars, they can have unfair advantage when it comes to, say, doing more damage, or, you know, if your relics are better than somebody else's, then hey, you're obviously going to win because that's the more pay to win elements of this. In theory, that is, but I'm still yet to learn a little bit more about that, and it could be a case that, and I thought they were meant to be September where we hear about those things, but Magnus saying it's potentially December. I need to go back to that old roadmap and see, like, you know, what the crack is since then. But as well, I haven't seen anything in the CCP. It's definitely not been discussed about road testing it, but that doesn't mean to say that there might be one or two content creators that have been given access to them in some sort of like secret squirrel beta of some kind. I'm not going to rule it out. There's so many different layers to different things. But in any case, like, you know, what has Kabam got to say about this? Because, you know, a lot of players are still interested. Same thing, wish crystals. Yeah, I do agree, wish crystals. There's something that I was kind of come up with an idea, which was called a I tried to say this right in my head. A consolation. Every time I say consolation, sometimes I go like constellation or consultation. So no, a consolation prize type thing, where, you know, you could you could re-roll a champion, so to speak, especially if you've got something at more than 20 signature or more signatures on. But in any case, moving on, and what a Kabam I've got to say. Kabam BK says, as we point out in the roadmap post, timelines are subject to change, yes, and delays or outright cancellation. We haven't cancelled anything, but we're still working hard on both solo competitive mode and Relics. They've both seen small delay based on because we are currently working to fix some pretty important areas of the game. That's true, because I think people would complain if they went, oh yeah, we're not working on the inputs problem at the moment. We're actually going to be working on Relics and solo competitive mode. People would go like, no. So yeah, I'm glad they're kind of prioritizing that. But you should expect to hear more about them in the updated timelines next month. So there is a new roadmap coming. I want to say a new roadmap coming in December. So that's good. So I suppose that's some kind of good news right there. And there we go. That's been the Marvel Contest of Champions news show for Friday. Hope you have a lovely weekend. I'm going to be doing some other stuff. I've got other content coming out. So go and support that. I'll see you all very soon. Bye-bye.